Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is going on? Victory Monday. And not all Victory Mondays are built equally. But folks, I'm here to tell you, this is one of the sweeter Victory Mondays that we've had in quite some time. And it feels so good to be speaking to you all here on this Monday. I see my guy Hunter, Brian Dean, Stephen Borwell Jr., John, Travi, Xavier, Justin Langford, Leonard Matthews, Brennan M., Brandon Ward, Ethan, what's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Gad, C. Youngblood, also those in the Big Cock Club Discord, the TDC Questions channel. And yes, in case you're wondering, we are going to light the Clem Sucks pack yet again. Feels good to be saying that again, right? We're going to light the Clem Sucks pack again because, of course, as you all know, this is not the first time that we've smoked the Clem Sucks pack, and there is no sweeter pack than the Clem Sucks pack. So we're going to enjoy that one together. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. We are live taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. I want to hear from you, your questions, your comments, your calls. We have got a lot to get into today, taking your reactions to the weekend that was. Baseball wins 2 of 3 over Clem Sucks. Women's basketball wins the SEC tournament. Men's basketball gets their first SEC home win in the final regular season game of the season. And heck, I don't even know, something else may have happened. I think softball also won a couple of games. So we got a lot to discuss. It feels good to be good here on this Monday. Excuse me. Before we get going, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks, because the Daily Crow brought to you by our friends, as always, at Prize Picks. Go down the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play anything and everything, college sports, pro sports, of course, with March Madness just around the corner. You want to make sure you're playing with our friends at Prize Picks. There's so much money to be made there. Also, opening day for Major League Baseball is just around the corner. Lots of money to be made in the MLB. Really, really exciting stuff. And again, so many fans and listeners of our show are raking it in, and you should as well with Prize Picks. So again, go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up show sent you. Braddock, what's going on? Appreciate you. I see you in the chat. Justin Langford, Brian Dean. Softball is 19-2. How about that? Women's basketball 32-0. You love to see it. Guys, also, let me say this. Thank you all so much for the love and support over the weekend with the live stream watch-alongs. I thought those were a massive success, and I had a lot of fun doing them. You know, I will say it was great being in the studio, locked in, plugged in, being able to watch the game, create content on my phone, and also actively create content while we were live. I know a lot of people had questions over the weekend. Why are you not at any games? What's going on? And maybe now you see why. It was a huge advantage for me. Again, my number one goal on game day is to create elite content. And I feel like we were able to do that at a much greater level. And what's so funny is that any video or pictures or anything like that I could have gotten, right? Anything I could have gotten from being at the games, people were sending to me. So it's not like I even missed out on anything. So also to those people, thank you so much, because it made me feel like I was in multiple places at once, which you absolutely love to see. So great stuff. Again, thank you all so much for the love and the support of the live stream watch-alongs. Like I said, that's something we are going to continue to do. It won't be for every single game, obviously. I'm not going to do a live stream watch-along for Bethune-Cookman, for example, this weekend. So if you had your hopes up, I do apologize. But, for some of the bigger SEC series and maybe some of these bigger midweek games, when it really calls for it, we will continue to do the live stream watch-alongs. That is something that will continue to evolve. And as you all know, and I've told you and I've teased it, it's something that's building up really to football season. I think that's something we will do for the football season. I think it would be a massive, massive hit for people to get those live reactions in game, stuff like that. So again, going to be a lot of fun. Just stay tuned, but really excited. Guys, also updates. The podcast drops as normal this week. You ain't got to worry about that. TDC, though. No TDC tomorrow or Friday. So tomorrow, yours truly, I will be going down to the Players Championship in Jacksonville, Florida with the Carolina Cigars boys. Very excited to hang out with those guys. Looking forward to a fantastic day. I've never been out to TPC Sawgrass before, so really looking forward to it. And then on Friday, I'll actually be out of town all week, but Friday, I will be with family out of town, so not going to do the show on Friday either. But Wednesday and Thursday, it'll be remote TDCs. We'll probably use this lavalier mic that I was using for the live stream watch along, so sound might be a little bit different on you guys' ends Wednesday and Thursday. But either way, we'll still be live making content. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a really fun week. And again, appreciate you guys rolling with the punches, your love, your support. But really excited again to chat today for the next 2 hours or so, taking your questions, your comments, your calls. And I'm about to light this Clem Sucks pack as we speak. First things first, I want to shout out this guy. I'll be honest, I forgot his name. I forgot his name on Etsy. But this ashtray is phenomenal. You see the Phillips mark there. A name that'll take you far. Phillips, love that. Absolutely love that. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all tuning in sincerely. Thank you all so much. Brian Dean says, as far as the rotation goes, Noah Hall is our best pitcher. Sanders is great, but his starts are shaky. Hicks is pushing hard for a starting spot. Brian, I'll actually say this. And I know there was a lot of commentary. Oh, here it is, by the way. Sticks and Stones Workshop. Shout out to that guy. Incredible stuff. Yeah, this guy does an amazing job for like custom ashtrays. Reasonably priced too. But, I know that was something, Brian, that a lot of folks were talking about after Friday. I'll say this. I think one of the reasons, though, the expectations for Will Sanders are so high. Like if he doesn't throw a shutout, he had a bad start. If you actually go back and look at his start on Friday, he didn't pitch that poorly. On the road in a tough environment, rivalry game, he had 2 runs that shouldn't have scored. He actually didn't pitch that poorly. I think more so, guys, what the weekend showed, I could actually argue that it showed you don't need to touch the weekend rotation because, dude, Noah Hall got hit too. What did he give up? 3 earned runs? I mean, he got hit a little bit too in that 5th inning, if you will. So, I mean, none of your starters were perfect. And you kind of expected that going up against better competition. Jack Mahoney also. But here's the thing. What you saw this weekend that I think is so encouraging. I don't think any of your 3 starting pitchers necessarily had their best stuff. But all 3 guys were able to battle through it, right? Will Sanders on Friday. Thought he did a great job, guys, of conserving the bullpen. I don't think he gets enough credit or he's not getting enough credit for that. And that if he gets knocked out in the 2nd or 3rd inning, if things really go sideways, your bullpen is taxed for the weekend. Like it's going to be an uphill battle, even against a Clem Sucks team that we felt like we had the advantage against. Noah Hall didn't necessarily have his best stuff either. He battles for you, gives you 5, 6 solid innings, what have you. And then yesterday, Jack Mahoney obviously didn't have his best stuff. I think the emotions obviously running high, understandably so. But he pitches 4 innings, only gives up 1 earned run. So the fact that all 3 guys, I don't think any of the 3, they weren't as sharp as we've seen early on, if you will. You know what I'm trying to say? But none of those 3 guys were as sharp as we've seen to this point. And all 3, I think, gave you pretty quality outings. I think so. You didn't lose Friday because Will Sanders was abysmal. You lost Friday because you couldn't swing it, bottom line. So, I do not think shuffling the rotation right now, I don't think that's the answer. And I think I was echoing this last year. I think I was saying this last year. But, I think you create more problems than you already have if you start shuffling around guys. Like, let's let them continue to go through it. Hey, listen, if Will Sanders struggles, guys, and Noah Hall it's just obvious he's your best guy, I got no problem with it. But I'm not mailing it in on Will Sanders yet. I'm not doing that. The guy is elite. Again, I think one of the reasons fans have frustrations is because the expectations. I mean, guys, people are saying in his 2nd start of the year, he didn't throw well. He was 5 innings pitched, no earned runs. I mean, what more does he need to do? Right? What more does he need to do? It's like people want him replaced. He hasn't really lost the job yet in my mind. He hasn't lost the job. So anyways, I think it's a little early for that. Again, we get 3 or 4 more weekends or 2 or 3 more weekends down the road. And he's not throwing well. I get it. Hey, guys have to earn their spots and what have you. But, there hasn't been a question to this point. Will Sanders was your number 1 guy coming into last year. He was your number 1 guy over summer. He was your number 1 guy over fall. He was number 1 guy coming into spring ball or coming into preseason practice, if you will. And then he was your number 1 guy starting the season. Like, there's a reason he's the number 1 guy. Also, he's a projected 1st rounder. Like, he's a stud. Do not get it twisted. I think a lot of factors went into Friday night. I think it was Clem Sucks' night. I think you've got to, I think you got to give them credit the way they jumped Will Sanders. So, all right, we're going to go ahead, guys. We're going to light this bad boy here. Stu Stogies for the win. Shout out my good friends, Carolina Cigars. This is I don't even know what this is. Hecho a Mano, Republica Dominicana. I don't know. I don't know what this is. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. Victory Monday indeed. I like to get that thing good and lit. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what's funny? It's even orange, too. The wrapper's even orange. The wrapper's orange. It was meant to be, ladies and gents. The sweetest pack of all, the Clem Sucks pack. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Somebody call in so I can just smoke this. Anyways, 843-790-3377. Andrew, the textbook says should be 17-1 heading into SEC play. Well, I tell you this. I'll tell you this, Andrew, right? We're celebrating the weekend, but if you want to start looking ahead, right? If you want to start looking ahead, we're not talking on TDC tomorrow. You want to start looking ahead, you got the Citadel tomorrow and USC Upstate, right? Citadel at Founders Park, USC Upstate at Fluor Field. Do not sleep on the midweek slate this week. Do not sleep. It would not surprise me to see South Carolina lose one of those games. And I'm not saying that as an indictment on Carolina, but it's baseball, and those are quality opponents. They are quality opponents. It would not shock me. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Will from Dirty Myrtle.
Will, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on?
It was a beautiful day yesterday at Founders, man. I mean, what a day to get out there and watch us beat the shit out of Clemson like we did.
Did you go to the game or no?
I did.
You did? Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
It looked gorgeous out there, man. Looked gorgeous.
It was beautiful. I had bleacher seats, unfortunately, so a lot of it I spent kind of under the kind of behind the home plate where the food is because it was kind of bright, but it was gorgeous out there, man. A great day. We were just smacking homies left and right.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, man. I haven't been out there in quite a while, and
yeah.
I might take the kids out there next time, man. It's really kid friendly compared to Williams Brice, which is the kids kind of got to be a little older for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the emotions
little,
and things can get a little out of hand at Willie B from time to time, but I'd say folks at Founders.
Too.
Yeah, that too. But folks at Founders, I was going to say, they're not quite as lubricated as those at Willie B. So
it was pretty lit yesterday, though, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, bro, like it was pretty crazy. After we cracked that second one, who was to hit that second bomb in a row? Was it Cass that took the first one?
It was LeCroy. LeCroy was the back-to-back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it went crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, what a day, man. And to get swept last year and to come back and win that series and really put a stamp on the fact that we own this state in every way, form, or fashion. There's no arguing about that right now. Feels good to be good, man.
It feels good to be good. I was thinking about that, man. I mean, you got to think, right? I was going to say, when is the last time Carolina swept the major sports like this? And I mean, it's been since at least 2013, right? I mean, it's because football hadn't won in so long before this past fall. So right. I would say to Gamecock fans, man, to Gamecock Nation, really, truly soak it in. I've spoken before that maybe during the Spurrier years and the glory years, if you will, that I took it for granted a little bit. And, I was just like, well, we'll just be good forever. Like, no big deal. I'm not making that mistake again. So I'm going to soak this in. There's a reason we're smoking a stogie today, man. It certainly does feel good to be good. And, I know that Mark Ryan got a little pushback I don't know if anybody saw this late last week when he basically said that South Carolina are they potentially knocking on the door of a golden era yet again in sports? And I think there's an argument to it. I don't want to overreact to one baseball series, but I think there's an argument to it that maybe it could be the case. Maybe it could. At least, hey, I'll say this, at least in this rivalry. Maybe this rivalry's turning a little bit. I'll just say that.
And I haven't seen Petrie in person until yesterday. That dude looks like a fucking major leaguer right now. Like, he is huge. I mean,
Petrie reminds me so much of Grayson Griner. It's scary, to be honest with you. Like, as a freshman.
He is a big dude.
Yeah. Reminds me so much of Griner.
And I honestly, man, going there yesterday, it really kind of sparked my interest even more in baseball, man. It was really cool, man. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the season holds, man. Hopefully we can make us a little run into Omaha. But
yeah, that'd be something. That'd be something.
Our team looks as good as I've seen the last couple of years, man. I mean, it's early, but it just seems like they really believe, man, that they can get it done even if they get down. And the pitching staff is great. And I mean, Hicks yesterday, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Hicks was dominant, dude.
Lights out.
He made that look.
Lights out.
He made that look really easy. I mean, it was just. I mean, dude, 53 good, pitches in 5 innings, just good morning, good afternoon, good night type of shit. So, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, Mahoney got out to a little bit of a rough start, but kind of got it, kind of pulled it in a little bit. But Hicks was the star of the show yesterday, man. I mean, he really just sat him down left and right. Really good to see that. But yeah, man, just wanted to let you know, dude, it was a great day at Founders, man, and I look forward to going back, maybe just to catch a midweek game at some point with the kids. Just it won't be quite as crazy, but I'll hang up and listen, brother.
Will, you're the man. Glad y'all had fun. I appreciate you calling in, my guy. Thank you so much. Yeah, Will from Dirty Myrtle, awesome stuff. Can't wait to hang out, by the way, with the Myrtle Beach Gamecocks when we go on the road for the spring tour. I see my guy in here. What's going on, my guy? You see we got the stogie lit. Nothing like a Stogue after taking down Clem Sucks yet again. What a time. Yeah, I mean, it really does feel good to be good. It truly does. Shout out again to Dawn Staley's team, women's basketball. We get so used to it, ho-hum, whatever, but 32-0. SEC tournament champions. Love that. Let's jump back to the phone lines. Dalton, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
What's up, man? It feels good to be a winner. It feels good to, rub the salt in Quinn Suck's wound, hire their head coach, and then just beat their ass for 2 straight days. One of the greatest feelings ever.
Well said, my friend. Well said. You took the words right out of my mouth. And I know you were there with Brendan M., so shout out to both of you. I know y'all had a good time.
Yeah, I am nursing a little bit of a sunburn right now. I was out there in section 1, down the first base line, near the berm.
You also won your bet, though, correct? You took...
I didn't bet on us yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I bet on us the day before that. I bet on the ladies yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand why. I understand. I get it. You don't want to quote unquote jinx the Gamecocks, but yeah, that game yesterday, man, I came into that one with supreme confidence. I mean, it would have shocked me if Carolina would have lost yesterday. Would have shocked me on the home field, pitching advantage, just swinging it at Founders Park. It would have really surprised me. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say from what I've seen from this team, just the resilience of this crew right now, I think you've got a team that has legitimate Omaha aspirations. Not, there have been good teams in the Mark Kingston era, but I would say, I don't know what it is with Kingston. I watched his post game, and he said, someone asked him a question about, you didn't, after Friday night's loss, you didn't look as, intense or whatever. You looked a little bit more loose as far as what you've done previously when you lost to Clemson.
Right.
And he said, the last couple of years has sort of taught me to, enjoy the rivalry and don't take it too seriously. Just go out there and have fun and win the game. And I think, I hope Mark Kingston has turned the corner here because I really like what he's done with this team along with Monty Lee.
Well, and I was going to say, Dalton, to your point, I think that's something that, admittedly, I don't think the masses, for example, we all tune in to listen to what Beamer says after every football game. It's, it's not, we don't do that quite as much in baseball because there's just so many games. And I don't know that the press conferences are really publicized quite as much, but that was something that when I was watching that presser, it did really stand out, because I've heard from former players, like guys that played under Mark Kingston and, about, maybe, and this is coming from a couple years ago, but the struggles and how difficult it is, and that Kingston could be a bit of a hard ass here and there. And it was difficult to play for him at times. And again, I've heard this from very, very reputable sources. I know the whole per sources thing, but, just heard from guys within the program and around the program that, at times Mark Kingston was a little bit difficult to play for, the pressures of, trying to keep a spot in the lineup, keep a spot in the rotation. And so to hear Kingston say that yesterday about that, he's getting older, he's learning to just kind of enjoy it and not be so life or death all the time. I thought that was a very mature statement. And like you said, I hope it's something where Kingston, has, and we don't know, right? We're not behind closed doors. We don't know for a fact, but I hope it's something where he really has turned the corner and, is creating an environment where top-notch players, number one, want to play there, but number two, are going to flourish when they come to South Carolina. I mean, that's been the biggest knock on Kingston to this point, is that when we're getting this talent on campus, right, whether it be transfers, whether it be top-notch freshmen, it's just not clicking. Something's not clicking. And so you hope that, those comments are a reflection of a change in philosophy for him, and it's something that'll pay off major dividends. So, I'm excited for it. We got a lot of season left, but you really couldn't have drawn up a better start sitting here at 11-1 and take 2 of 3 from the arch rival. And, we'll see what happens. But I will say, to your point, this team definitely, I felt good about this team coming in. And, for what I've seen thus far, I think this is a team certainly that if the bats are consistent, and, you get hot at the right time and you're playing your best baseball when we get to end of May, beginning of June, why not the Cox, right? Why not the Cox in Omaha? I don't see why not.
And another thing, another question I kind of have for you is it's obvious that we've got, some supremely talented freshmen on this team. I mean, I believe that Ethan Petrie one day, Eli Jersenbeck are going to be playing in the show, or at least have a legitimate chance to get there. Do you feel like it's too soon to sort of elevate those guys and put Petrie at the top of the lineup and put Eli Jersenbeck in really high leverage situations, or do you think you should just kind of use them as Jersenbeck as a midweek starter and just keep Petrie middle of the order? Or do you think it would sort of ruin their confidence if they get put in those kinds of positions and have some failures, going into the postseason?
Yeah, and that's the great balancing act, because those guys, I mean, both Petrie, Jersenbeck, they're both extremely talented, right? I mean, we can all see it. You don't want to thrust them into high-intensity action too quickly, in the sense of, like you mentioned, like it can be tough on their confidence. And if you start getting hit around in SEC play, if you're Jersenbeck or Petrie, he goes kind of through some of the same struggles that, a guy like Michael Braswell went through last year in SEC play, right, where he really struggled. Both guys are going to be a huge part of our team this year. I mentioned in the preseason, I stand by it. I just don't think you're going to see Sanders, Hall, Mahoney. I don't think you're going to see that switch up. I don't. Now, will there be shuffling of, could Hall take the Friday spot and Sanders move to Saturday, move to Sunday? Maybe that could happen. I don't think Jersenbeck's going to be a weekend guy this year, but that's a luxury that you don't have to thrust a freshman into that Sunday spot, Saturday spot. So I like the way they're utilizing them right now. I will say this on the Petrie side of things. I mean, Dalton, if he keeps swinging it, not all freshmen are built the same. That 2010 team that won the national championship, Christian Walker was that team's 3-hole hitter, right? Which is normally where you put your best all-around hitter. So, I mean, dude, if Petrie keeps swinging it the way he is, and, let's say like Caleb Denny struggles. I know he had kind of a rough weekend. Will McGillis had a really rough weekend. You could see some shuffling. And I think they moved up Petrie to I believe the 5 or 6 hole in that game yesterday. So I think he's going to be up there. I think he's going to be in the top half of the lineup. As long as he keeps swinging it well, and you kind of just go off of, which guys get hot, which ones don't, whatever. But yeah, those are two extremely talented freshmen, and I think they're going to make big, big impacts in Columbia over the next couple of years. And I would agree with you. Both of those guys are probably 3 years and done, because they're going to get drafted, and they're going to get drafted very highly. So enjoy them while you can. But yeah, both of those guys, again, going to be huge pieces for us. And you just think about right now, the pitching depth that you have, right? Just sticking with the pitching. I mean, you talk about getting to SEC tournament play and winning a regional, and it's like, that's what you need. Like, you need those top 3 guys, but you also need a James Hicks who can start. You need an Eli Jerzenbeck who can start. You need an Eli Jones who can start. Like, you need these dudes, right? And so you got them, and that was the huge reason for optimism in the preseason. And now if the lineup, again, can continue to come along and, can continue to swing it well, again, the sky's the limit for this group.
And then sort of the last thing I'd like to ask you about is, obviously Ethan Stone is a plus hitter, and he's normally slotted in the 9, or not a hitter, but a plus fielder. And he's slotted in the 9 hole. Do you know of any way we can sort of get, some more production out of that 9 hole? Obviously, Dylan Brewer had that double at the end of the game, on Sunday against his former team, which, it probably felt really good for him. But the bottom of the order, you've got to get at least some kind of production down there to set up the top of your order to bring the runners home. And we just haven't really been doing that, basically throughout the entire season. So I'm wondering if you think, like, maybe a Michael Braswell could play the field and just see how he does in the 9 hole to maybe get some more plus production at the plate, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I said it after the Friday game, and I'll stand by it, that, I understand why Michael Braswell has not been seeing action. I get it, right? I get it. Guys, you use fall practice and you use preseason practice to determine who wins jobs. Braylon Wimmer slides is short. Will McGillis is brought in. Those 2 guys should be starting in the middle infield. Bottom line, end of story. Third base, you need LeCroy's bat in the lineup. That goes without saying. He's hitting 359 right now. So Michael Braswell then becomes sort of an odd man out. The only way that, I could see, you could slide a Wimmer to the outfield and move Braswell back to short. But I think they're dead set on Wimmer being the shortstop all year. That's the position he's going to try to get drafted at. He is going to get drafted at, I should say. So to your question about Evan Stone, the 9 hole, he's hitting 154 right now. He's 4 for 26. Okay. His on base percentage is 450. He does get on base. Give him credit. He's got 10 walks and 4 hit by pitches. He gets on base, but he's not being productive enough. I mean, that just goes without saying. We know that he's not being productive enough. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that, because I get what Kingston's saying, to the point of, if he hits 250 for us and, he plays elite defense, it's kind of like a George Khalil situation all over again, but he's not even hitting 250, and we haven't gotten to SEC play. So, like, I don't see. I mean, I'll be totally honest with you, Dalton, as all right, cool. Sorry, the Muschamp Packers just I don't know what there we go. Okay. Muschamp Packers infiltrated us. I don't know what the solution is in regards to. I think they're going to give Evan Stone a little bit more time in the non-conference, and they'll go from there. And they'll go from there. But I would try some different guys. I would love to see Michael Braswell get some at-bats. Hey, if he's not an outfielder by trade, teach him. He's an athlete. I bet you he could play outfield, but it's a tough thing because Stone is literally your center fielder. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that moving forward, again, with the Evan Stone thing, because you don't just want your 9-hole guy to be an automatic out, right? And Michael Braswell is a talented baseball player who's sitting on the bench. So I know we'd all love to see him get some opportunities there.
Well, yeah, that's just kind of my takeaways from this season. But like I said, I mean, this is one of the best teams I've seen in the Mark Kingston era, and Kingston. is a controversial around here. A lot of people wanted him gone last year, and this was kind of his prove it year. And I got to give him some credit for putting this team together, making the hire of Monty Lee, which some people also didn't like, considering he was our rival's former head coach. But I give him a lot of credit for taking all that heat last year and then coming back and putting up the early results that he has, and I hope to see more good results in the future and into the postseason.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, I will say, to your point, give Mark Kingston a lot of credit, and I was obviously one of those who was most vocal on the Mark Kingston side of things. I want to win more than I want a new coach, so I would love for this to be the year that Kingston, like we mentioned, maybe he's turned the page, maybe he's reinvented himself, which people can do that. Coaches can do that. He brings in Monty Lee. I gave him credit for he didn't sit on his hands in the offseason and just say, well, we'll just keep doing our thing because we believe it's going to work. He went out and sort of, made some moves in the portal, made some moves in hiring Monty Lee, made some moves in hiring some other coaches. So, and you're seeing it pay off early. So, I would love to see Kingston turn to the next Ray Tanner and we go on some crazy stretch and win 40 games the next 10 years in a row, go to Omaha, all that good stuff. But a lot of baseball left, but a successful weekend, no doubt, my friend.
All right. You have a good one.
Dalton, I appreciate you, my guy.
Your time.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure, my guy. I appreciate you. Dalton, what a legend. What a legend Dalton is. I apologize, by the way, guys, for the remix we hit there while Dalton was on the line. That was crazy. Either way, 843-790-3377. Let's jump right back to the phone lines here. Skyler, what's up, man?
What up?
What's up? What's going on?
I'm just enjoying the wins.
Enjoying the win, indeed. Yeah, it feels good to be good, man. That was a fun weekend. I know you and I talked. I ain't gonna lie to you. Late Saturday, I was, or middle of that game Saturday. I thought we were dead. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought we were dead, but I did hold on to optimism that I felt like as we got deeper and deeper and deeper into Clemson's pitching staff, that it's like, okay, like if not now, when? Because we're going to have the opportunity to get the bats going. And sure enough, that's exactly what you saw. So, but, I know I got a lot of pushback late last week for picking the 2 of 3, what have you. And, Clem Sucks did what I thought they would. They played with a lot of emotion, especially Friday night. They gave you your best shot. And fortunately enough for us, it wasn't good enough to win the series. So, the best rivalry in all of college baseball, man, it just delivers yet again. You never know, really, truly throw out the record books. When Carolina and Clem Sucks, throw out the records when those two teams, when they play each other. But the bottom line is this, you get the job done, man. So kudos and tip of the cap to all parties involved.
I'm going to give you my opinion, and you're not going to like it, and people are not going to like it. Just hearing from you and the last caller. I blame Kingston's loss. I blame Friday's loss on Mark Kingston. I think he's the reason we lost that game. He made way too many moves when he shouldn't have. I do believe that Caleb Denny is in left field. He catches that home run, and he catches that pop fly, that horn drop. I believe that Will Sanders only gave up 2 runs, and we're tied at 2 in the 9th inning. So I will not give Kingston any credit right now. I do not believe in what we have done yet. I think Clemson's pitching staff is terrible. I've said that last week, and when we got to their bullpen, we would rock them because their bullpen is terrible. And I still believe we're doing what we're supposed to do to the teams we have played. So I will give Kingston credit in the SEC play if this continues, which I 100% hope it does. To my heart and my passion for Gamecock baseball, I hope we're national champions at the end of the year. And I hope that Kingston has turned the page. And I hope that Kingston can turn into the next Ray Tanner. But in all seriousness, Clemson pitching was young. And their bullpen was not that good. And you continue to win. I expect to sweep this weekend. I really do. I think we have 1 loss going into Georgia. I think if we could take 4 out of 6 in the first 2 series, I think, I'll give Kingston some credit.
What do we got? Georgia, Mizzou, I think, the second weekend. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Georgia,
think if you take 4 out of 6, and you don't get swept by LSU, and
I think if you take 4 out of 6 in the first 2 SEC weekends, I mean, that would be an average of winning both series. I mean, obviously you would, I'd be happy with that. I mean, I think,
I'm happy right
if
now.
you,
Don't think,
no, I
don't
know
think
you
I'm
are.
not
No,
happy.
listen, Skyland, I'm laughing. I love your realism. I love it. Listen, I've learned not to doubt you because I looked like a fool last year. I mean, I'll say this to your point. I don't think because you started 11-1, it's a guarantee that we're going to go 18-12 and be a regional host and go to Omaha.
This is a regional team, and I still do believe that we are a regional host.
Yeah, let me say this, Skylar. Okay, so you think we're a regional host, which that'd be a pretty damn solid regular season in my mind.
Yes,
I'll say
we're
this.
going to have a solid regular season. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, I'll say this. The question for this team, because I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking, the question about this team is not, are we better than last year? We are worlds better than last year. Knock on wood, we stay healthy pitching-wise. I mean, the pitching depth alone makes us a better team. We're an older veteran lineup. Mark Kingston cited that a couple of times. So the question's not, are we better than last year? Are we even going to make the postseason? We are. I'm confident in saying this is going to be a postseason team. To me, the question is, are we going to be, when we get to SEC play, a 14-16 fighting for 15-15 team, which still would not be a horrific year. Like if you go 15-15 or better, you had a solid year in SEC play just because the sheer depth of this league is the best conference in all of college baseball. We all know that. But are we going to be a 14-16 fighting for 15-15? The bats are inconsistent like we've seen before. Or are we going to get consistent productivity out of the bats? Are we going to find ways to win? And we're going to be more that 16-14, 17-13, or dare I even say better than that, and we're going to be hosting. That's the question I have. It's not, are we better than last year? We are worlds better than last year. And again, we're not going to get the answer to that question until we get into SEC play and we just see how this team, how they fare against the best arms in all of college baseball. I mean, that's totally it. Because I would agree with you to the point that we have not seen that type of pitching yet on a consistent basis. I mean, Clem sucks. Like we mentioned, we got into their pitching staff and we took advantage. They were depleted. What happens when you go up against an SEC pitching staff that's got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all dudes, right? That's the question. That's the question.
That's the only thing holding me back right there, that statement.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's fair. I'm not going to tell you it's unfair. I mean, it's kind of a no-duh statement, but I'll sit here and tell you, listen, there's going to be some weekends that don't go our way. I mean, we're going to run into some buzzsaws, dude. Florida, if you've watched Florida baseball at all, they're a buzzsaw. Tennessee's a buzzsaw. LSU's a buzzsaw. You got to go to Georgia. You got to go to Arkansas. You got to go to Mississippi State. Like, there are tough series out there, but I mean, that's you come to Carolina to play the best and, go up against the best. And I mean, dude, listen, if you go over 500 in SEC play, I think this is a really, really good team and you had a great year. Truly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You get some of those bigger series that I mentioned at home. Florida's at home. Tennessee's at home. LSU's at home. So, you need to take advantage of when you play the Kentuckys and the Mizzous and, you get Auburn at home, taking advantage of those types of series, right? So there's a long way to go, man. And the goal is this. The goal is this. Again, hot, cold, hot, as the 11.7 guys say. We're going to run into some adversity. That's the beautiful thing about baseball, though, is you get the opportunity to respond. And, will this team be able to fight the adversity, right? Fight the adversity, still be winning ball games amidst the adversity. And when we get to the end of the season, we get those last couple SEC series and the SEC tournament, are we starting to really hit our stride and playing our best baseball? We'll have a chance. We'll have a chance if we do that. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not crowning us as a 40-win team. But the question right now, again, back to what I said was, is this going to be a 33, 34-win team, 14-16, 15-15 in league play, or are we closer to a 40-win team? And we're 16-14, 17-13, maybe even 18-12. That's the question. And it all come down to how consistent are the bats. That's really going to be the answer to that question.
I don't want people to think I'm some Debbie Downer, which I'm not. I'm glad we're winning. I'm glad we're having fun. I'm glad we're beating Clemson. I'm glad we're winning ball games. But if we go back to Kingston's second year, we won 20 non-conference games. Everybody thought you was good, that he had it figured out. He was the man in his second year. Then he turned around and won 8 games in the SEC and finished the season 28-28. I do not want to see that happen again this year.
What year was that?
Kingston's second year. We finished 28.
Oh, 2019. Well, 2019. To be fair, Skyland, you also lost Carmen Majinski that year after the Clem Suck series. You were starting freshman on Friday. I mean, remember Danny Lloyd was starting on a Friday night. Like, again, fingers crossed, knock on wood. If you don't have any pitching injuries, that's not going to happen. That's simply put, just not going to happen.
I believe in the pitching staff. I believe if we make a regional, we have the pitching to carry us to the supers. I 100% believe. If we get in the regional, we're winning a regional.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, I'll say this, Skyland. Everything I just said about, how do you fare when you go up against dudes? Like, we have dudes. We also have dudes. So,
right,
so that's what's going to make SEC play a lot of fun, right? Because we also have dudes.
That's my problem with this team. It's not the pitching. I believe if we get in a regional, we have the pitching. If we lose a regional game, we have the extra starter, like you said, in James Six, or Jerzenbeck, or even Becker, or even Eli Jones. We have the extra pitchers that get an extra start. My problem is when the offense, when we're facing good arms, and you saw it on Friday night, and you saw it on Saturday. We went to the dugout. Hey, I gotta make this call.
Skyland, I appreciate you calling in, my guy. Great stuff as always. And I hate that I didn't get to ask Skyland about the pitching staff and what he thinks about Will Sanders. And just curious. But Skyland is listen. Skyland gives his honest, unfiltered opinion. I respect it. Q Brennan M posting in the Big Cock Club Discord. Pipe down, slap dick. Find some joy, slap dick. Hey, find some joy. Oh my God. I see a lot of y'all in the comments. Find some joy, slap dick. Oh my God. I mean, I'll just say this. Celebrate the dub, man. Enjoy it. I know Skyland is. We've got plenty of time to worry about SEC play, right? Because it starts not this weekend, but next weekend. We got plenty of time to worry about SEC because it'll be a different challenge. I mean, it will. Dude, I was watching Florida yesterday. If you have not watched Florida, if you have not seen what Florida is doing, and I'm not trying to crown them necessarily, but I mean, you don't look at that. Here's what I would say. You don't look at that as a negative, that like, oh my God, we got to play this team. They got to play us. Florida's got to come to our house and play us. Tennessee's got to come to our house. LSU's got to come to our house, right? So, I mean, it's why you come to South Carolina. It's one of the reasons you love SEC baseball. It's one of the reasons you love college baseball, right? It's one of the reasons you love college baseball. Bruin Nation, my issue with Kingston. I feel like Kingston doesn't embrace the rivalry like we want. How so, Bruin Nation? Explain that to me. Guys, we'll go ahead and jump into our first break. Bruin, you can let me know on the other side. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. As you can see here at TSUS HQ, it's a great day to have a day, my friends. Great day to have a day. Here we go. Let's jump right to the phone line here.
Call from
Young Savage.
Oh, here we go. Young Savage, what's up, man?
You tell me, man. Since we made it, we swipe the victory from every other season that we go by last year and this year. Since first we got football, second we got women's basketball, third we got men's basketball, and now baseball from yesterday. And I think we did a pretty good fall team for anybody that could not be happy. And for starters, I cannot believe that we had even one from every other year that we can do this ball on to beat Kingston in every single last other year. It's been 9 years, and now this year's been 10 years. So we went for 10 years later, and it's our state now. So it's complete. That the swipe is complete with every other sport and every other season that we have been very awful and very blessed that we had in our season, and come to an awesome every end from Kingston not being the best of the best. So I hope we can stay on the road on this one too.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been awesome to watch Carolina dominate across the sports, and much needed, man. A Gamecocks fan base that is we've paid our dues. I mean, we've sat through the some tough years and some tough results, and this weekend was sweet, no doubt. This weekend was sweet. This weekend was expected, but this weekend was sweet, no doubt. And watching all the sports have success against the arch rival. I mean, listen, beating your rival, it's just good for it doesn't guarantee you're going to have a great season. It doesn't guarantee, a lot of things, but it is, for the health of your fan base and the health of your program, it definitely feels good. Well said, Young Savage. I appreciate the call. Let's jump back to Skyland. What's up, man? You're back.
I'm sorry. That was the most important phone call I needed to take right there.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Any other closing remarks, my friend? On
It's not the pitching staff, because I believe in the pitching staff. I believe if we lose a game in the regional, we still have the pitching staff to get us done. What I fear is when we face better pitching, and which I don't believe in Clemson's bullpen. It was terrible. They're young. So I believe that you saw on their Friday night, even if it wasn't their Friday night guy, he still shuts you down. He only walked you 3 times, and it was a struggle to get on base. It was a struggle to hit the ball, and it was a struggle to score runs. Now Sunday, you saw some walks. You saw their bullpen leaving pitches underneath the middle of the plate. I just feel like when we get to these big SEC series, we're facing top-notch starters and top-notch bullpen guys. How will the offense fare? And I'm not saying we suck, because we don't. You're absolutely correct. We're worlds better. We are way better than we ever was last year.
Right.
That team last year would have lost Saturday's game. I am happy of what Mark Kingston's done. I want to give him credit there. I'm happy with how the season's going. I'm just optimistic on how the offense is going to do versus better pitching. And that's all I am right now.
And I understand it, my guy. Hey, listen, you ain't got to explain it to me. I get it. I get where you're coming from.
I 100% think, we face some bad competition pitching-wise, and the offense has done what they needed to do when they needed to do it. I do, last caller before I called in last time was talking about Evan Stone. And I believe he has to come out. I don't think his glove is enough to keep him in there. I think you go ahead and move Dylan Brewer to center field, and you keep.
So you're starting Brewer.
Brewer will run into a base hit way more than Evan Stone would, in my opinion.
I mean, I can't even really argue you there. I can't argue you there.
I mean,
Here's what I'll say this.
I'll
say this. I don't mean to single out Evan Stone, but we're talking about the 9-hole. What I don't get about Evan Stone is the approach. In the sense that, like, bro, you are so fast. He should be laying down at minimum 1 bunt a game. Everything he hits should be on the ground. Everything. Like, I understand they have a certain approach, but, like, dude, you're so fast. Like, use the speed. You ought to be able to hit 200 with your legs.
Oh, you got a fire in your house, son.
We got the stogie.
You better put that cigar out.
All right. We're going to jump into a break. I'll be right back, Skyland. How about it? Here we go. Studio stogie goes wrong. Okay, that was one of the funnier moments in the history of this show. Yeah, I forgot there was a fire alarm in here. Here's my question. How did that not happen after the football game? We smoked a cigar in here before. I don't know. It's been fixed, though. I apologize. That was very unexpected. I forgot there's literally a fire alarm right there. So that was one of the window's open. The window is open. That was one of the funnier moments. My bad, guys. My bad. Sorry, Skyland. That was very unexpected. But either way, we continue to roll. Really what this is, I just, my lease ends pretty soon. I will be moving into a house where I have a screen porch, and this will not be an issue anymore. I like to think the fire alarm was more so saying, like, the show is fire. Like, this is what he's spitting right now is insane fire. So we've got to put a pause. Whoops. I'm sure the Carolina Slapdick community, or just those on social media, are going to have a field day with that, which is totally fine. It is what it is. That was funny. That was one of the funnier moments that was one of the funnier moments we've ever had in the history of this show. So sometimes the Clem Sucks pack be hitting too strong, my guy. Let's jump to the phone line.
All from
Robbie Davis
Jesus
is actually Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's up, man? How you doing?
Bro, come on, man.
I know.
That is definitely one of the funniest things I've ever seen happen on Daily Pro.
Dude, my question though is this. My question is this. We smoked the Clem Sucks pack after the football game, and that didn't happen. So I don't know. I don't know. This baseball pack must hit a lot differently. This is the Clem Sucks pack, the sweetest pack of all, but this one's extra sweet because it is the football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, tennis, track and field, rugby, hockey pack. It is the all-encompassing
You name it,
pack.
we beat Clemson at it. Okay, it's like
Right.
we hit. I don't even know what's better than a trifecta, but
Yeah.
we
That-
pulled it off and we took care of business.
Yeah, that was
Like,
that
it's a-
was one of
don't-
the
if
that was one of the funnier moments in the history of the show, and that's one we'll all remember forever. So
Oh my goodness!
you never see. This
That-
is why you
I-
tune
I
into
have-
TDC, because you just never know what's going to happen.
You never know. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know who's gonna call in.
You never know when I might burn down the studio. You just never know.
Oh Lord, please don't do that. I don't want to lose a friend that way. No.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But man, I mean, I knew Will. Anyway, let's get to the conversation.
Yeah.
Here. Anyways, holy crap, Will Hicks pitched one heck of a game yesterday. Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
I mean, he was pitching like he was possessed by the baseball gods. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, he was shoving, and he didn't give a damn.
Yeah, and I just think that was a team, and I think what you saw, that was just a team that had extreme confidence, expected to win on their home field, and of course James Hicks pitched that way, and you just dominate across the board. So I mean, really, I expected it. I coming into
Right.
yesterday, I actually put a prediction in the Big Cock Club Discord. I said 12-4, and we didn't quite hit the 12, and we held them less than 4, but I picked an 8-run margin of victory. We won by 6. So I felt like, man, again, series on the line at your home field, packed out Founders Park.
Yeah,
I really thought that
for sure.
it was going to go your way. So I was not surprised at all. But yeah, I mean, it feels good for sure. And James Hicks, yeah, no doubt, James Hicks was incredible through 5 innings. It'll be interesting to see now. Who they start in the midweek, because James Hicks was normally your Tuesday guy. I would expect Jerzenbeck to probably be that guy. Who starts on Wednesday? Probably going to be a Johnny Holstaff, or they'll give like Eli Jones the start, something like that. But yeah.
Did
Yeah.
Jerzenbeck pitch this weekend?
Jerzenbeck was in relief on Friday. Yes, he threw well. Threw really well too. Threw really well. If I do recall correctly, I'm pretty sure he was on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Let me see. Yeah, I got the
Here's
box. I
some
got the box.
advice.
I got the box score right here. Yeah, Jerzenbeck. Yeah, 2 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no earned, and 4 strikeouts. So he threw well. He threw very well in 2 innings.
he only pitched 2 innings. Shoot,
Yeah.
I'd honestly, I'd ask him how he feels, and if he's good to go, I'd let him pitch on Tuesday.
No, I think he will. I think he will start tomorrow. It's James Hicks, who I think won't start because he threw 5 innings yesterday. So I don't think you'll see.
Oh yeah, he's not pitching tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, if I was the pitching coach, I would talk to Jerzenbeck and be like, look, how do you feel? I know you only pitched 2 innings, but how does your arm feel? And if he says he's good to go, I'd let him pitch.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
No, I think he will. He only threw. Let's see. He only threw. It tells you number of pitches. Let's see. At least I thought it did. Anyways, he didn't throw that many pitches, so yeah, he should be good to go.
Yeah, I knew he didn't throw that many pitches, but it's a if your team involves
He got
wearing
34 pitches. Yeah, he
don't
basically
come to Columbia.
he basically threw a bullpen on Friday, so he's good to go.
Yeah. And my advice is, if your team has orange in it, don't come to Columbia because it'll die. Okay. We beat Tennessee in women's basketball. We beat Clemson in football. We beat them in men's and we beat them in men's basketball. We beat Clemson in men's basketball, which was a shocker. Okay, I was not expecting us to beat Clemson in basketball because our basketball team sucks. Okay, but if the men's basketball team, by some miracle for Clemson, wins the ACC title, we can say again, just like in football, we beat the ACC champion.
Indeed.
For some reason, they are
Indeed.
playing very good basketball right now. But anyways,
yeah, they're the 3
if your
seed.
team wears orange, don't
They're-
come to Columbia. Okay,
They're the 3
'Cause you're
seed in
gonna
the
get
ACC
beat.
tournament. Yeah, Clem Sox is playing good basketball. But yeah, we did get the dub somehow, some way. So that's really all that matters for us.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. But it's a bet. Don't wear orange in cola, or you will leave battered and bruised and beaten, and we're not going to care.
indeed.
I mean,
did you watch all 3 games, Robbie?
I watched all of Friday and all of Saturday, and I wasn't able to watch all of the Sunday game because I went with Marion R26 to go. We were supposed to go take my mom's dog to get his hair cut or fur or whatever you want to call it, and they wouldn't do it, so we had to go all the way back to the house. And then but anyways, I wasn't able to watch all of the Sunday game, but I watched from the 7th inning on of the Sunday game.
Nice. Very good.
I saw the
Very good.
tail end of the Sunday game, and it was a packed house. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I've been there whenever Founders Park is rocking, and it's a crazy atmosphere for it being a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, one of the best atmospheres in college baseball when it's packed out, man. Truly. Yeah, I hope we're seeing a lot more of that this season. So
Oh, for sure. If we keep winning like this, yeah, it'll be up there for sure. And also, shocker, the girls basketball team beat Tennessee yesterday. Shocker. Not really. Kind of saw it coming.
I think what happened was not a surprise to any of us, but still got to give credit where it's due, man. It's what they the fact that winning has become so it's so normal. Yeah, it's impressive for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is after all the pieces that we lost after last year, I thought, oh crap, we're gonna have a down year. But Don Staley was like, oh no, we ain't having a down year. Down years do not exist for the women's basketball team. But we are losing we're losing a lot of people, a lot of girls after this year. So I'm really curious to see who steps up and is in the starting 5 for next season.
Yeah.
But I think this whole weekend was great. Okay, this whole weekend was great. We took 2 or 3 from Clemson. The girls won. I mean, all the sports are doing well, and I'm really hoping at some point this baseball season to go to Founders Park. I really wanted to go on Sunday, but the appointment to take my mom's dog was like at 1:30. So I couldn't go, but I will definitely be at Founders Park at some point this year. And I will be sure to do a little bit of extra cheering since you most likely will not be there. So I'll do some extra cheering for you and make my voice be gone. That's the plan. But and I will see you in about a month. Go Gamecocks, and to hell with teams that have orange in it, especially Clemson, because y'all suck. We proved it that last year was a fluke. Y'all should not have swept us. They honestly shouldn't have beat us on Friday. But like I always say, a blind squirrel always finds a nut, and for some reason, their blind squirrel found their nut on Friday, but we were like, oh, hell no. We took care of business on Saturday and Sunday. Shut that down.
Yep. The Cox were the only ones nutting this weekend, my guy. That's a fact.
my God, that was funny. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week, and it's only Monday. Holy. Oh God. Oh goodness. All right, I'm gonna get over here. You have a great rest of your day. And Clemson sucks. They suck. Garbage. Stinky garbage.
Well said, Robbie. I appreciate you, my guy. It feels good to be good indeed. Enjoy your Monday.
You too, buddy. All right, have a good one.
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. And yeah, I'm glad that's the funniest thing that Robbie Davis has heard this week, seeing as the week started pretty recently. So, anyways, 843-790-3377. Hey, Dale texts in. BDD. Dale says. Good God. What? The ops don't want us to win. The ops don't want us to win. I don't know what else to say. Anyways, since it obviously cut off when I was reading Dale, that must have been the Big Dick Dale hackers there. That was the Dale hackers. So, Dale, I don't know if you should text in anymore, my guy. He says, Young Sausage had a great call. What'd you cut him off for? F-U-R. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on today. I don't know if it's just too much fire today. I mean, we've glitched twice. Fire alarms going off, whatever. We press through. Either way. You know, I've heard something that stood out to me one time, that when you're doing well and when you're thriving and when you're living your best life, which would be today and which would be this weekend for Gamecock Nation, when everything's going well, that's when the devil works his hardest. And that ain't nothing but the devil. That ain't nothing but the devil, man. Let's jump to the phone line.
Justin?
Here we go. Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, Chris. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Hey, Chris, I feel good today. We beat Kingston in football, basketball, baseball, and we was basketball, so I feel good about those.
I mean, dude, how can you not feel good, man? Indeed, man. It feels good to own the state. It's been a while since we kind of clean swept the big sports, and shout out to all the other sports, but it's been a while since we clean swept those big ones. So it's awesome, man. I mean, what if I'd have told you a year ago to the date that, by the way, Carolina is not only going to beat Clemson in baseball, but men's basketball, women's basketball, football. It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. So you should feel excited.
Oh, yeah. And, Chris, I want to ask you about Marlon Lee. Chris, I feel good for Marlon Lee because he went back to get payback against his old school, you know?
Yeah, dude, for sure. No, for sure. It's yesterday, and like I said, this weekend was a lot of fun, my guy. So.
Oh, yeah. And Chris, I got to talk about Brad Scott right quick. He might feel like Brad Scott, you know, because I ain't covered Brad Scott back in the day, you know.
Talking about who now?
Brad Scott.
Oh, Brad Scott. Yeah, that's a name to bring up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he went from the Carolina side to the Clemson side, so to hell with him.
Yeah, because people say about Brad Scott, Chris, because he had no connection with Clemson, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, you hate to see somebody go to the other side, you know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, he made his choice. That was a long time ago, but yeah, it's always interesting when you have a party go from one side of the rivalry to the other. It's always very interesting.
So yeah, that was back in the day, but I ain't covered him back then, you know. This year, Chris?
I wasn't even watching I mean, I didn't know nothing about the Gamecocks back then, my guy. Like I said, it didn't really. I think I was 7 years old when that was going on. So I was watching cartoons and playing baseball and not even thinking about hardly nothing. So, yeah.
Yeah, me neither, Chris. I was about 7 years old too because I didn't think about him neither, you know.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
I was just doing baseball, football, basketball, that's about it.
No doubt.
Yep. And Chris, our women did good too because I was about to win one of the SC tournament, you know.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. That was awesome. And like I said, man, it's one of those things where we've become so used to the winning, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, I mean, 7 SEC tournament titles in the last 8 years. I mean, it's really cool to watch what Dawn Staley's built. It's really special. I mean, South Carolina women's basketball has become the standard. You could really say it's the standard in college basketball, like you said, in all of college basketball. The way we've been winning is crazy. And, I kind of now when I think of Dawn Staley's team right now, I think of that Kobe Bryant video when they won a playoff game or something. And, the reporter said, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you happy? And Kobe said, job ain't finished. Is the job finished? Job ain't finished. So for this team winning the SEC tournament title, it's great. It's something that we should celebrate, but job ain't finished. Job ain't finished for them. So on to the postseason, it was already the postseason, but on to the NCAA tournament, on to the big dance. And now we got our sights set on the national championship.
Yeah, and Chris, like you said, my friend, we're not done yet because Don says she wants to win those championships back to back.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Exactly, and I think we'll do it. I think we will go wire to wire undefeated. I don't know exactly how many games we have to win it all. I think it's like, 5, 6, something like that. Either way, I do think this team's going to finish undefeated and win it all. And again, I think if you're picking against them at this point, you're trying to go against the grain and pick an upset, and that's fine. But I think you'd be foolish to do so.
Yeah, I agree, Chris, because I think this South Carolina team's going to be undefeated. And at the end of that, that's hope is going to be back in Columbia again.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think first 2 rounds are in Columbia. So our first 2 games, I should say, the first round or whatever. First 2 games are in Columbia, and then you'll be back in Greenville, Bon Secours. So we won't play a game outside of the state of South Carolina until the Final Four. That's crazy. That's crazy. So
yeah, it is. And Chris, before I go, man, you gotta give Tennessee credit too. They're playing hard against us, but at the end of the day, we knew Tennessee gonna play hard, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean absolutely, man. They're a quality program. They have a quality team this year. I'm surprised they're not ranked. They'll be in the postseason. They'll be in the tournament, so they'll be a tough out. And LSU's a quality team. Tennessee's a quality team, but nobody's on the level that we are. Nobody's even remotely on the level that we are.
I agree, Chris. And you gotta look at Tennessee too. That's the program who won 17 SEC tournament titles, right?
Yeah, they won a lot.
Yeah, and we in second, aren't we, Chris?
We are.
Yeah, I hope one day we catch it with the Tennessee, those ties contenders, Chris.
Yeah, I think we could catch up. Listen, I think Dawn could win as many as she wants, man. The recruiting ain't slowing down, and I mean, there'll be new storylines next year, and you'll have to replace Aaliyah Boston or replace a fantastic senior class. But I mean, again, you're recruiting the best players in the country on a year in, year out basis. So I don't see why not. I don't see why you can't just keep it rolling.
Oh yeah, and Chris, they actually got no recruit class too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting what Kim Mulkey does, huh?
Yeah. Yep. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how she continues to build that program. Kim Mulkey is a very, very good coach, no doubt.
Yeah, and Chris, like you said, man, you gotta keep your composure. You don't lose your composure too much.
Yep, you got to keep your composure, my guy, through the good and the bad. That is a fact.
Yeah, because sometimes coaches can lose control quickly, right, Chris?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Man, Chris, that's all I said, man. Go Gamecocks.
Justin, you're the man. Go Gamecocks. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff from Justin. Brendan M. highlighting in the Big Cock Club Discord. Longest streaks at number 1 in the AP women's basketball poll. Gamecocks now sit, of course, they were number 1 yet again today, sit at 37 consecutive weeks, which is second all time. UConn, of course, number 1, 51 weeks. South Carolina now second solely, though. They were tied with Louisiana Tech. UConn streak was 51 weeks. So, I I don't see any reason why they won't break that, to be honest with you. I don't see any reason they won't break that. So 6 games left. Okay, 6 games to win it all. 6 games left. 6 games left. Guys, we are going to jump into the break. A planned break this time, not because of a malfunction in the studio. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back taking your questions, comments, calls here on this Victory Monday, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. And I couldn't help but think over the break that fire alarm clip is going to be legendary, no question. Again, guys, we're celebrating the wins all across the board, right? Baseball takes 2 of 3. Women's basketball wins the SEC tournament title. Yeah, just an incredible weekend. You know, men's basketball. Let's give credit, by the way, to them. Men's basketball gets the dub. Final SEC home game. And, you know, I know it's something we were locked in on baseball, and it's unfortunate that the game was at the same time as the baseball game on Saturday. But, you know, credit to Lamont Paris and his team for finishing the season out the right way. I know it's kind of one of those, it's a given, right? Your own scholarship, you should play hard. I totally understand that. So giving a pat on the back for giving effort that is required is not really my cup of tea, but I will say in a season that was so tumultuous and at times it like maybe this team had an avenue to check out and kind of fold up shop early. Kudos to those guys for finishing it out the right way, beating Georgia. Hey, it's just like beating Clem sucks. To hell with Georgia. It feels good to beat the arch rival. And so credit to those guys for getting the job done, you know, on Saturday. Michi Johnson with a big game. Hayden Brown in his final game at CLA. You know, great stuff to send him out that way. And the last time probably we've seen G.G. Jackson at Colonial Life Arena as well. But all in all, you know, I think you have to look at it as you sit as the 12 seed in the SEC tournament. A successful, all things considered, year one of Lamont Paris. I mean, to not finish 14th, to be the 12 seed, and now you take on Ole Miss on Wednesday night. You know, again, it's one of those things where you give credit to those guys for finishing it off the right way and taking down the dogs on Saturday. So, again, guys, do want to hear from you, 843-790-3377. That's 843. My guy's geeking because the fire alarm went off. That was very unexpected. I mean, again, we've smoked a victory stogie in here before. We smoked one after the Clem Sucks game, and nothing happened. I mean, nothing happened. We were fine, and all of a sudden today we fire. So I don't know. You just never know, and even I don't know what's going to happen when you tune into TDC and you go live. And yeah, so anyways, 843-790-3377. It's 843-790-3377 here on this Monday, March the 6th. Great job of the guys. I'll say this. You know, we talk about it a lot that in baseball, you're inevitably going to run into adversity. I mean, just bottom line, guys. Nights like Friday night, they're going to happen again. I'm here to tell you, it's going to happen again. But it's all about in baseball. The beautiful thing about this game is you get the opportunity to respond. So it's about how do you respond? And this team, you know, all things considered, for sure, you know, you look at Saturday, you're dead for the first 5 innings. And, you know, hell, I thought I was harsh. But you see people on social media fire Mark Kingston, the season's a wash, whatever. And, you know, this team just explodes in the last half of that game. Then on Sunday takes care of business. So kudos to the guys, man, for fighting, for scratching, for clawing, for finding a way. Win anyway. We talk about it all the time. I was preaching it a week ago today. Win freaking anyway, and you certainly did that. Brendan says he doesn't think South Carolina will be number 1 to start the season in women's basketball. Going to be losing Boston along with the rest of the starting lineup. I mean, you might be right. Yeah, Jeff, Lavoisier Carroll retiring, which it's so ironic, Jeff, that took place because we talked about on Friday how important it was. You know, I felt like even with Lavoisier Carroll coming back, you needed to go to the portal and get a running back. Now you definitely need to go to the portal and get a running back with Lavoisier Carroll announcing his retirement due to medical reasons. So I fully expect Shane Beaver and company, you know, they've shown, obviously, they're going to be active in the portal. I think that goes without saying. I would expect that to continue. And I think adding a running back, you know, do you feel good about Mario Anderson from Newberry? Yes. Do you like Juju? Yes. Do you feel good about Dontavius Braswell, the true freshman? Yes. But I think you can expect to see South Carolina add somebody else. Add a proven ball carrier that you feel like can come in, compete, increase the depth, if you will. So they're going to be thin at that position. They're going to be thin at that position in spring ball. And again, I will expect South Carolina when I believe it's May 1st, the portal opens back up. I think they'll be active. I think they'll no doubt be active, and it'll be interesting to see who they can land out of the transfer portal. But again, guys, 843-790-3377. Like I mentioned, just a quick update. No TDC tomorrow or Friday. Yours truly, we're going to be on the road all week and weekend long, by the way, going out of town. Really excited to get down to TPC Sawgrass tomorrow, hang out with the Carolina Cigars guys, and never been down there, so looking forward to it. I think the weather tomorrow in Jacksonville is going to set up beautifully for that trip for us. The last time I looked, I believe it was a high of 88 degrees down there. We got the TSUS golf gear that we're going to be rocking. Really excited for that. And also, guys, be sure to check out tsus.store in case you missed it. Use the promo code YARDCOX. Use the promo code YARDCOX until midnight tonight. You get 15% off your entire order. 15% off the entire order with promo code YARDCOX at tsus.store. Yeah, high at 87, no rain. Going to be beautiful tomorrow in Jacksonville. Low of 62. So, I mean, it's going to be majestic down there when we hit TPC Sawgrass tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing my Rippers later today and kicking it with those guys for a few days. We'll be rocking TDC remotely from their spot Wednesday, so that'll be a lot of fun. Going to be a fun week all in all. You guys know I love to get out of the studio and mix things up and travel and also create content. So it's going to be a good time and excited for it. And I want to say thank you all so much again for allowing me the opportunity to do that. Because of you guys' love and support and the business being in a position where I'm able to do that. It's truly incredible. It's a blessing. Like I said, I mean, I have great perspective. I've been stuck in the queue before, and I've been stuck in the 9 to 5, and I've rented out my time before, and so now have control of my schedule and control of my time. And I mean, it's something that I certainly don't take for granted. I'm extremely grateful for, and it's all because of you guys showing your love and support for the show and the business. So thank you all so much. I'll also say, by the way, guys, check out the Agoji podcast. I've shared the links across social media, actually hosted by a couple of former South Carolina football players, Dawson Hoffman, Patrick Reedy, and God, I forget the other guy's name, Glick. I'll pull it up here in a second. I feel so bad for that. Here we go, the Agoji podcast. Yeah, Corbett Glick. My apologies. Corbett Glick. I don't know why his name always slips my mind. But shared that. Really, really good stuff. We had a great conversation, guys. A lot of stories, right? We talked much more than just football. We talked life. We talked business. We talked philosophy, a lot of cool different things. But a lot of fun stories that many of you may have not heard before in regards to, my time with TSUS and the Gamecocks and the business and everything. And those guys, it was really, really cool, by the way. All three of those guys were at South Carolina under Will Muschamp. So hearing their perspectives on TSUS and the feelings about TSUS in the locker room and all that good stuff were really, really cool. So I highly suggest it, guys. Go check it out. A great conversation. Let's see. Yeah, Tim Fulbright, you got to give Clem Sucks credit. Friday, they were really aggressive. They were really aggressive on Friday. Jumped all over Will Sanders' fastball. I mean, literally from the first pitch, right? So you got to give them a lot of credit, but kudos again to the Gamecocks for bouncing back the right way. Kudos to them. So let's see. Lynn Turner, we still have a loaded team next year in women's basketball. Cardoso and Raven Johnson and Bree Hall and Ashlyn Watkins coming back, I think will be good. I mean, yeah, Lynn, I would tend to agree with you. I think we'll be good. I think Brendan just making the point that, because of the pieces we lose, that we could be just top 5 and maybe not number 1. But I don't know, man. I think if you go back to back and you win the national championship again, I almost feel like out of principle at that point, South Carolina should be number 1. You know what I mean? Like, until you get knocked off, the defending champs should be number 1. I mean, it's like Georgia in football this year. Are they going to be as good? I don't know. But they're the defending national champions. So unless somebody knocks them off, you got to make them number 1. I mean, I think you just have to. So, Blind Squirrel, excellent show, Chris. I respect the fact you don't like Georgia. As a South Carolina fan, you ain't supposed to. Have an awesome day. Thank you, Blind Squirrel. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the CSRA in North Augusta. Shout out to the NA. Shout out to 803. Shout out to the CSRA. But I grew up right there on the border, and anybody from that area will tell you, you deal with Georgia fans probably even worse than you deal with Clem Sucks fans. I mean, it is relentless with the Dog fans. So growing up, I would say I hated them more than I hated Georgia, to be totally honest. Or excuse me, I hated them more than I hated Clem Sucks, to be To be totally honest with you. So let's see. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. David Garrick says if the O-line grades out to at least a B-, we'll be fine. I think so as well. That's a big question for us, line of scrimmage. I want to shout out Dave, by the way. I want to shout out Dave and say thank you to Dave. Dave is somebody that, behind the scenes, a big supporter of the business and somebody I trust, and I value his opinion and I value his takes. And, there's people in life that you can really tell, are they genuine? Are they not? Are they in it for what reasons? Are they giving you advice or feedback for, right? And so a guy like Dave Garrick is somebody that I truly value his insight, value what he has to say. And so, and that's, we've had a lot of see Lee. Hackers. The hackers are having a time with us today. Let's jump to the phone lines. Scotty, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
Man, I'm been watching for about 45 minutes, and I'm kind of shocked it's been a slow day after beating Kingston.
Well, we've had a lot of calls. We've had a lot of calls. I will say that. Yeah, we've had a ton of calls in the first hour plus. So, man, it feels good to be good. I think everybody's really excited, and why shouldn't you be? Why shouldn't you be, man? We own the state.
That's for sure. It's good to hear that. I mean, growing up, coming through school, high school, middle school, and all you hear is, all the Clemson fans, blah, 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 blah. And it kind of sucks. Now that I graduated, I can't even give people hell about it. But, I mean, oh well. Our times came. But I will say, Friday, I got to watch the game Friday. I couldn't Saturday and Sunday. But Friday, it looked a little shaky. Which, I mean, that's baseball. You kind of expect that. Like, honestly, I had it taken 2 of 3. I think I said that last week. And, I didn't know which game to kind of pick that we were going to lose because, of our starters. Mm-hmm. But to be honest with you, for us to lose with Sanders, I think it's going to help more than people realize. Because even though he's got that loss under his belt, I think he comes back even better from here on out. Mm-hmm. Just my kind of perspective on that. So, I mean, it was good to see us battle back between Saturday and Sunday to come back. Bats were cold, but they came back, and that's all that really matters. We got took 2 of 3. So,
yeah,
I mean, it was a fun weekend. That's
yeah,
sure.
I will say this. I don't know if you've seen some of the chatter, but you got a lot of people saying that Will Sanders should be moved out of the Friday spot. I don't see that. I think it's way too early for that type of chatter. I think that, again, there's a reason Will Sanders is your number one. There's a reason he's your Friday night guy, and I think he'll show that. As we go throughout the year, I think he'll show that, and, I fully believe in Will Sanders. There's nobody that took Friday night, I'm sure, harder than he did. And if you go back and you really look on the road in a hostile environment, Clem Sucks was fired up, man. They knew that might be the only game they win. They were desperate. Losers of 4 in a row, and he sort of ran into a buzzsaw, but I thought all things considered, again, man, I thought he threw the baseball. It wasn't his best by any means, but, you have a couple of unfortunate plays in the field. And, if you don't have those, he only gives up 2 or 3 runs. And I mean, it's one of those things. It's one of those things you give credit to Will Sanders because the expectations for Will are so high. They're so high, right? If he doesn't throw a shutout, he didn't have a good game. If he doesn't throw a shutout, he had a poor performance, quote unquote. And That's a little bit unfair. It's a little bit unfair. I thought, if anything, again, this weekend showed why he is the number one guy. Because look at the performances of Hall and Jack Mahoney on Saturday, Sunday. And I'm not saying they threw poorly, but those guys weren't as good as they were in the first 2 weekends. And I think that's expected, right? When you're going up against better competition, it just, that tends to happen. So I think, if anything, the weekend solidified why he is the number one guy. So I feel confident in the pitching staff as is right now. I would not move Will Sanders out of the Friday spot. And, if we go 2-3 more weekends and it becomes evident that Noah Hall needs to be the ace, then so be it. But I think Will Sanders, I would keep the same Sanders, Hall, Mahoney moving forward.
Well, I had no idea that was a chatter, but just
here and there on social media, man. Is it? Let me just put it this way, and if this hurts your feelings, I don't give a damn. Is it chatter amongst those who actually know baseball and talking heads who have valuable opinions when it comes to the baseball team? And no, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. So, but there's been chatter from fans, and I respect it. I'm really not even trying to shit on anybody's opinion, but is there somebody out there speaking vocally on it that I would be like, man, like I would take their word for it? Not necessarily, but there's been a little bit of chatter, but it's not too loud. But it is what it is.
Well, I'll put it this way. I love the competition side of it, but, you got to remember, Sanders hasn't pitched all summer of last year. He never pitched the fall. So he really just started throwing pins and stuff when we came back from Christmas. Mm-hmm. Then get thrown into the Friday guy. You look at his first start, he wasn't on because he's not thrown much. That's the first game that he's actually had competition. Mm-hmm. He's not thrown enough to just, jump in there and go throw a shutout by any means. Mm-hmm. And he goes in there in a hostile environment, and we had, I want to say, what was it, 6 total errors on Friday night? So, when you have that type of stuff, and you've got the 2.5-hour rain delay as well, so when you add all that type of stuff up, I don't understand why there's chatter on that personally. You can't take a guy that, had an incredible season last year, projected to go, some say first round, some say second round, whatever, but projected to go high in the draft. You can't take him out of the Friday night roll. We've not even hit SEC play yet. So
yeah, Scotty, I mentioned this. I mentioned this earlier. I think you create more problems than you solve by doing that. You create more problems than you solve. So I think it's no. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think they'll continue to move forward with Sanders, Hall, Mahoney. And again, Will Sanders is going to be that dominant guy. It's going to, whether it clicks this Friday, next Friday, whenever, he's going to be a stud. He is a stud. You know what I mean? He's going to have one of those 7-8 inning double-digit strikeout type of games. When it comes, we'll see. But I am not worried about Will Sanders.
Not at all. And you look at it, dude. I think I was more impressed by our bullpen than anything this weekend because, like you mentioned, Mahoney and Hall didn't pitch poorly, but they weren't like they were the first couple games. Mm-hmm. And then when you got Becker and when you got Hicks and when you got, Kate Austin and the Beach to close it out, that's pretty dominant stuff just from the pitching side of it. So I'm not really too worried about that.
Yeah, I think the most surprising thing from the weekend, the surprising thing was how poorly Becker pitched. And again, Becker's a guy I'm not worried about. We've seen him throw really well, but gave up 4 earned runs in an inning. So not his typical outing, but sometimes it happens and you got to pick your guys up and the bats did that. So the bats did that thankfully on Saturday.
Well, I got to ask just because I couldn't watch the game and I know, everybody's a Carolina fan in here, but I've got to ask, how did Tristan look on the Saturday game for Clemson, the starter? I went to high school with him. I was really close friends with him. So I was just wondering.
Well, my guy, 4
and
2/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, no runs at all, 5 strikeouts. He was pretty good. I thought he was pretty damn good. So,
I was going to say, for a freshman to come out and do that was, it sold out. I don't know if you saw that, but, they were sold out at 4:30.
Yeah. It was the pin. Cool. It was the pin you took advantage of. It was the bullpen you took advantage of. Their bullpen gave up all 11 runs because obviously again he didn't allow an earned run. So South Carolina scored 8 runs in the last 2 innings of the ballgame. So, I mean, yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. The 7th and the 8th inning, scored 5 in the 7th. So you scored 3 in the 6th, 5 in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th. So
that's how you do it, though. I
yeah.
mean, that's what makes baseball so fun, in my opinion. You know, football is kind of hard to just be down, 21-0 and come back and win the game in the second half or something like that.
Yeah.
Baseball is such a long game where if you start cold, you can still come out. Basketball, if you start cold, it's going to be so hard to come back and win. So, I mean, that's what I love about baseball. You can get hot in a very instant moment. So, really cool to see that. But I'll leave you with that, man. I'm going to get out of here, but I was just going to call in and talk to you about that. So,
yeah, Scotty, great stuff as always, my friend. I always appreciate your baseball insight and your insight as a whole. Thank you so much for calling in.
always, man.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff from Scotty Griffin, man. It's always a pleasure to hear from him. Guys, one final break. On the other side, taking more of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. What a day. What a wacky day. What a wacky day it's been. But legendary stuff today here on TDC. Ruin Nation says, I'm off the fire Kingston stuff until I see how this season goes, especially in conference play. I mean, yeah, Bruin Nation again. Listen, we all knew and know the expectations of this season and what Mark Kingston and this program need to do. And pressure's a privilege. Pressure's a good thing. The pressure to win is very, very high. And we talked why winning this past weekend series was important, right? Especially after last year when you got swept. So, I think that obviously there was a negative reaction to Friday. And I mean, there should have been, Bruin Nation. I had people, reaching out to me, replying, saying, insinuating that I was like mailing it in on the season. Like, there's 2 more games. There's the whole season. Like you want to burn it all. I mean, it was a frustrating night. You should have been frustrated. That was a frustrating ass game. And to your point, Bruin Nation, Friday reminded us a lot of what we had seen over the past couple of years in the Kingston era. But again, shout out to those guys for responding the right way and getting the job done. So, we all know the expectations. It's super regionals or bust, I think. I mean, I think the more you watch this team, guys, I think the more that is solidified because this is a good team. This is a good team with some good players. There are capable pieces on this team. So, you embrace the pressure. I mean, the expectations are to get to Omaha. They know that, right? So saying that we need to go to the Supers this year, that's normal. That's no duh. That's what you expect on a year in, year out basis. So, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, again, I think this team has got all the potential in the world, got all the tools, and we will see if they're able to come through. But I feel good about this team. I mean, I think really, again, as I mentioned earlier in the show, the question's not, is this team better than last year? Well, I think we all would agree this team is much better than last year. It'll just come down to, in SEC play, can you do enough offensively? And you look at the offensive numbers right now as a whole. This next week and a half or so is big because, like I mentioned, right, if you're going into SEC play and you're hitting below 300 and you're struggling to hit with who you're playing, that's going to be a bad sign. Right now, you're hitting 311, got 32 homers, hitting 311. I would expect to see that number at minimum stay where it is, if not go up. If you're hitting around 325, 330 going into SEC play, I think you feel really, really good about that. And, because the goal in SEC play will be, I mean, you don't have to hit 330. Just hit 260. Hit 250 in SEC play. If you hit 250 in SEC play, you're going to give yourself a chance to win a lot of ball games because your pitching is that good. You just can't hit 220 again. That's the thing. You just can't hit 220 again. That was the problem last year. So just more consistency with the sticks, man. More consistency with the sticks. Lance, what's going on, my guy? I know it was a latte-destroying weekend for you. He says the portal's going to be hot in April. Need to grab a running back and an edge. Yeah, I think so for sure, Lance. I would expect, and I think the portal opens up May 1st, something like that. I would fully expect Carolina to be active. I think they'll be very active in the portal. Bruin Nation says that's going to be the frustrating thing if it doesn't happen. We got the talent. If we miss a regional or lose in a regional, it'll be a failure. I mean, Bruin Nation, if you miss the postseason, that's things completely fell apart if you miss the postseason. I mean, I think if you don't get out of the regionals, it'll be massively, massively disappointing. Massively disappointing. Jacob, hopefully we can see Braswell or anybody else at center field in the midweek. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think I think it's more likely you see like a Tippett, the freshman. Does Michael Braswell get involved at some point? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. I think if you don't see Michael Braswell involved in the midweek this week, I don't know. I unfortunately think they've probably mailed. It's weird to say like they've mailed it in on him, and I don't want to be over dramatic by any means, but like if he's not getting in the midweek, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'd love to see Braswell get a chance. I'd love to see Brazzy get a chance. I'm not saying just because you were good last year doesn't mean that you should play this year. I'm not saying that, but like after what he did last year, being the the spark plug that he was for this ball club in a season that was so abysmal, it would be crazy to think that he doesn't play at all. Really, truly. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, about 5 minutes left to go. Thank you all so much for the engagement, for the calls today. Been incredible. Thank you for rolling with the punches. I know it's been wild with the fire alarm, the hackers, whatever, but it doesn't change the fact that it feels good to be good. Truly feels good to be good. A fantastic weekend. Thank y'all again for the love and support on the live stream watch-alongs. I thought that was a massive success. That went really well. I saw a couple of people asking, why are you not going to games anymore? Why are you not at the games? And I'll say this, guys, I like to try different things content-wise. And my number one goal and objective on game day is to make elite content and to be plugged in and provide the highest level of content possible, because at the end of the day, that's what I do. I'm a content guy. Being at the games in person, it made a lot of sense when I lived in Columbia and I was just down the street. And it would have been almost foolish for me to not be at the games, but not being in town. And again, when you just think about it from the content side, it just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. The fact I can be in studio, I can actively create content during the game. I can be plugged in with my phone and see much more of the game, I believe, from a TV perspective. It just makes more sense. Again, I'm not asking I'm not even asking like the common fan to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not asking, because it doesn't make any sense. But when you think about it, like, what value does it provide me, and in turn provide my audience, for me to be there in person? I still posted pictures and videos from being at the game in person. So it was almost like I was there. What would have been the difference? The only thing, and I hate to say this, because I love meeting people and interacting with Gamecocks when I'm at games, but unfortunately, guys, the only thing that me being at games does is allows access to me to folks that don't deserve to have it. It's overwhelmingly more. I get support and love and get to meet and interact with people that love the show, support the show, that are rocking the merch. The merch was all over all 3 games this weekend. But, it just gets kind of old when you got people taking videos of you and pictures and saying things like, I wish I would have seen you at the game so I could have beat your ass. Like, when it's just, why would I even put myself in that position? And I don't give those things. I don't give that chatter much attention, because it's all Twitter fingers, man. It's all keyboard warriors. Nobody's actually going to do anything. They never have, and they never will. But, again, it was just kind of almost like a spark. Like, you know what? I've been wanting to do this for a long time anyways, the live stream watch-alongs, and be plugged in studio. So, like, why wouldn't I do it? Why wouldn't I do it? It just, again, it makes too much sense. But it is funny, though, to see some of the chatter on social media, and it's just people that social media, Twitter is a beautiful place, because it allows cowards who would never do anything if they encountered you in real life, face to face. It allows cowards to have a voice. Everybody has a voice. That is the blessing and that is the curse. Cowards have a voice as well, saying they would, if I see you at a game, I'll do this. No, you won't. You won't do anything. You won't do anything but sit there and tweet away and take a video of me as I'm walking away and take a picture of me as I'm not looking. You're not going to do anything. You never will. You never have. It'll never happen. So, I don't know. That's the beautiful thing of Twitter, I guess. It's all just chirping, which is why we call it a tweet. Anyways, guys, Lance, let's get up, man, in Myrtle. Going to be a lot of fun. The TSUS tour all across our different locations at Carolina Ale House. 17 days. So that gets going. We'll start, of course, in Columbia. Then we'll hit Greenville a couple of times. We'll be later in the tour in Somerville and Myrtle Beach. Going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. We are going to have the towels and the koozies on hand. Guys, I will not be carrying hats, shirts, stuff like that. It's just more hassle than it's worth, man. I hate to say it. It's just more hassle than it's worth. It really is. And I apologize to those who maybe disagree, but it's just when people can just literally go online, go to my store and order it, and it's done. It's over with. I don't have to touch inventory. I don't have to fulfill the orders. It's so much simpler. It's just so much simpler. It's so much simpler. So anyways, I know you guys understand. Guys, we've hit 2:00. I want to say thank y'all. What a crazy show today, but great stuff. Great stuff. Truly feels good to be good. It's our state yet again. And This feels good. Let's stay here for a while, right? When it comes to the rivalry, let's stay on the winning side for a while. Why don't we? Guys, again, thank you all so much. Hey, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Great stuff, breaking down everything from over the weekend. If you missed anything on TDC, be sure to listen back to the show via podcast version. That'll drop at 3 o'clock, and stay tuned to all the content bleeding out of the eyeballs. Again, guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday. And remember, no TDC tomorrow. So we will talk to you all on Wednesday.